What's crack-lackin', fellow homenogs? It's your boy, Sonic, and in today's video we will be taking a look back at the Sonic Boom series.
Word from today's sponsor, Digiarty's WinX DVD. Get the WinX DVD Ripper in the link in the description below. WinX DVD Ripper helps back up and digitize DVD content without any quality loss and convert DVD movies for playback on all types of multimedia devices, including iPhone, iPad, iPod, Apple TV, Android, Amazon Kindle, and other devices, so you can have all of your favorite movies and TV shows right at your fingertips. No digital copy available? Lose the disc? No longer a problem. Link is in the description below. And without further ado, let's get into the video. Sonic Boom is one of the most fascinating parts of the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. In the mid-2010s, Sega's focus with Sonic the Hedgehog became making him more of a household name. They wanted to make Sonic more than just a gaming icon, so they teamed up with Wido Animation to develop a brand new Sonic TV series. And such, Sonic Boom was born. A retooled version of Sonic and his friends and his world made to appeal more to the mass market, with more Western sensibilities. And with that came an abundance of new merchandising opportunities and multimedia tie-ins. In the years between 2014 and 2016, the Sonic you would see on most merchandise, including t-shirts and lunchboxes, etc., would be the Sonic Boom version. With Sonic Boom, they effectively lightened the load when it came to Sonic lore. The Chaos Emeralds were gone, any sense of continuity was gone, the whole classic and modern shift was gone, and everything was more character-focused, but not so much just on Sonic so much as it was the gang of Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, and newcomer Styx the Badger. While this new version of these characters retained the same voice cast as the traditional Sonic, their personalities were a little bit more fleshed out, with Sonic being a little bit more conceited and condescending, Knuckles being very much your lovable goofball knucklehead who makes up for his lack of brains with an abundance of heart, Amy being more of an insecure, hot-headed enabler type character, which, suffice to say, is an upgrade on her more common video game personality, which consists of the following traits: girl. You've got Styx the Badger, who's a paranoid conspiracy theorist, and Tails, who, yes, is still a genius like in the games, but he's very much the straight man of the squad. Now, truth be told, did they really need to create a brand new universe to accommodate for these personalities? I mean, after all, I feel like if they just gave these personalities to the existing versions of the characters, I don't think anyone would really notice or mind. It's just Sonic, but it's funnier and more interestingly written. They created a whole new universe just so they could develop their characters a little bit. But that's not all, as these characters came with some really radical redesigns, by which I mean they added tape to most of them. Okay, generally their overall character designs are a bit more expressive than the typical modern Sonic character design that we'd all become accustomed to at the time. But like, does this really qualify as like a redesign? It literally looks just kind of the same, but a bit more expressive, which is, you know, again, like, you had to make a whole new universe just for Sonic and his friends to be a bit more physically expressive. The animation now being in more of a squash and stretch style, but at the same time, we've kind of seen that to an extent in any pre-rendered CGI cutscenes in previous Sonic games. So, Sonic has blue arms, some extra quills, and some bandages on him. Okay, that's the redesign. There you have it. It's just the Sonic characters, but with some accessories, and it's not like we haven't seen that before already. So I'm still honestly scratching my head as to why this needed to be its own separate thing. I guess Knuckles is the one that got the redesign treatment the most. I mean, he's always been the strong character in the games, and now you no longer have to take his word for it. It's communicated much more in the art direction. And that's something I will say, is Sonic Boom has a very interesting art direction, but again, this wouldn't be the first time the art direction has changed in Sonic history, so again, why this whole new universe? I think what it boils down to is Sega basically wanted to try new things with the Sonic the Hedgehog brand, but they didn't want to risk tarnishing what they already had. After all, around this time, they were still kinda recovering from Sonic 06. But if anything, I think just creating a whole new universe as a dumping ground for more experimental ideas really just shows a lack of faith in your IP. I personally, though, really liked these changes to these characters. While I definitely wouldn't consider the new designs enough to really call a redesign, and don't see why this couldn't just have been treated as normal Sonic, I felt like this new take was generally an improvement, and can fully see why Sega wanted to lean into this brand a bit more. It was at least a fresh start for Sonic the Hedgehog, acting as kind of a reboot, but they could still fall back on the normal modern Sonic if all went down the tubes with this one. Again, weird lack of faith there. But then in 2017, Sonic Boom effectively disappeared off of the face of the earth. The TV show ran for 2 seasons with no word of a cancellation, but it just was never renewed. While the ratings were nothing to write home about, the show was pretty positively received, gaining a lot of enthusiasm from a cult following, particularly into the 2nd season. One thing that really massively worked against the TV show was the schedule. They put this thing on at like 7 AM in the morning in the United States. But what is it that killed the Sonic Boom brand? Enter Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric, the main Sonic Boom video game for the Wii U. Now, here's the thing, when it comes to kids' cartoons and popular brands, there's an abundance of terrible video game tie-ins. So a bad Sonic Boom video game doesn't necessarily have to cripple the entire brand, right? Well, there's such a thing as timing. Oftentimes, tie-in video games come in after the fact. They come in after the show has ran and been a success for a while. In the case of Sonic Boom, there was some confusion as to what was based on what, because Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric was announced at the exact same time as the Sonic Boom TV series, with the game at the time being announced as Sonic Boom the video game, with the most common assessment being that the TV show was based on the video game, when really it's, it kind of goes both ways in some ways. We'll get into that in a bit, but first let's talk about the game itself. Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric was the one Sonic game I hadn't played until recently, when I did get a few hours of hands-on time with it. So now I can kind of piece that together with me also watching the game through. Again, I must stress I haven't really got the full experience, but I have got stuff I can talk about here. When it comes to what Sonic game is considered to be the most egregious in the entire series, it's generally a toss-up between Sonic 06 and Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. Yeah, right out of the gate, one of the very first pieces of the Sonic Boom corporate puzzle ends up being considered just as bad, if not worse, than the most egregious Sonic game in the series. Way to trip out of the gate. As for my thoughts on it, you guys know that generally I am willing to give even bad Sonic games the benefit of the doubt. I wasn't even that harsh on Sonic 06. You guys know I'm not a rage critic. I kind of tried to make it my whole shtick is that I will view things on their own terms and appreciate them on how successfully they do that. Okay, build up over. Look, I'm not gonna try and tell you that there's a hidden greatness to Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. Everybody has had their way with this thing, and it's pretty evident that this game just doesn't work. It's impossible to really recommend Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric on any level because it just isn't good. I don't think it's a pit of hell. I don't think it's a game that Satan brought to us, but it just is not good. There's no qualifying statement I can use to make this good. On paper, there are some ideas there. A Sonic game with more of a focus on adventure, it's got hub worlds, it's got more of a kind of an Uncharted feel to it. Sure, count me in, sounds good. Sounds like a return to the Sonic Adventure games, but no, it definitely is not that even in the slightest, not even remotely. Like, what are the basic things you expect from a Sonic game? You expect speed and platforming. It's platforming where you have to use your momentum to navigate and traverse. And Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric does not do that even in the slightest. Now, I generally don't mind change so long as it is done well. But at the same time, this is still a Sonic game. I know they kind of want us to think of this as it's the first one. It's the first of the Sonic Boom series, but again, how little faith do you have in your IP, Sega? Everyone knows what Sonic the Hedgehog is. And the game still has Sonic the Hedgehog on the cover. It's still called Sonic Boom. It's not just called Boom. It's not just called the Sega Pals Boom Adventure Rise of Lyric. What a good title, though. I should work in marketing. So what have they changed it to? Well, there is speed and platforming, but the two never correlate. The platforming is very much the main gameplay style, and when in the platforming and exploration, Sonic is just capped at a gentle jog. You cannot go fast, and considering how big and empty some of these environments are, you really could have afforded to go fast, guys. At least give him an accelerator button or something. I mean, he's got a spin dash, but it doesn't give him momentum or anything. Like, once he's done and stopped, he's stopped. But it also really depends on what you're going to be doing with this gameplay style, and sadly nothing we've come to expect from Sonic is really here. You whack some buttons, explore an area, you find some goodies. You move into the next area, but one of those areas might be filled with enemies. And thus, Sonic now has a punch button and an electronic whip. I will say this, I don't actually mind the idea of Sonic having a punch button. He has one in LEGO Dimensions, and that game is pretty awesome. Now, because of that punch button, the enemies do take a bit more of a beating. Now, it does try and kind of delve into beat-em-up territory, but with beat-em-ups, to make it fun, you kind of gotta have some combos in there with rewarding animations that can beat enemies quicker, and a sense of satisfaction, and this game doesn't have that. It's effectively a one-button beat-em-up. You keep smacking that button until all of the enemies are gone. So as far as a combat-based platformer goes, it's nothing special. I guess one fairly interesting thing is that you need to switch to other characters out of Tails, Amy, and Knuckles to traverse to certain areas. Amy can reach certain areas with her triple jump, Tails can reach certain areas with his glide, and Knuckles can reach certain areas with his climbing, but other than that, it's more or less a one-size-fits-all gameplay style, which I suppose is fair. I like the fact that hub worlds are back, but there's nothing to do in these hub worlds. They're very big and very empty, and you can't go fast in them. So you're just really going to be slowly chugging along these hub worlds for a good long while, trying to find a specific individual or informant to talk to, with a map that at best just isn't very helpful. Now, this doesn't mean that speed isn't in the game at all. There are sections where the game will allow you to go fast as Sonic. Sorry, I said allow, I really meant force. Sonic and his friends will begin running automatically to chase after, I don't know, Lyric or Dr. Eggman or Metal Sonic or whoever. And the gameplay is pretty much identical to Sonic Dash. You know, that game you can play for free on mobile. So if you want to do what Sonic is known for and actually go fast, you get to do a simulation of a game that you can play for free on your mobile phone. As a matter of fact, there is Sonic Dash 2 Sonic Boom, a Sonic Boom themed version of Sonic Dash, and it actually plays better than Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. Oh my fucking god. But okay, so I do think, like, fundamentally a lot of the ideas on paper with this game just don't work. It's just not a clever idea to take Sonic and take away all of the things that make him Sonic, but only add them back in teensy little increments, which play like nerfed versions of a mobile game. I'm not gonna try and defend this and say, oh yeah, the idea was there. Gameplay and structure-wise, this just shouldn't have been done. But while I may disagree with that, is the game, you know, on an objective level, like presentation-wise, okay? Of course it's not. Why even ask that? This review has come, what, 6 years after the game released? Everybody knows by now that Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric does not run well at all. Now, I myself didn't encounter glitches, but I have heard about some seriously game-breaking glitches that you can just kind of run into, but I guess I just didn't get that far. But for me, the game just didn't run correctly. I'm not a stickler for a frame rate. I'm not a person that thinks, oh, it needs to be locked at 60 frames per second. I need it to be smooth. But this game was just ridiculous, especially in the speed sections. I can play Sonic Dash on my iPhone 5S, and it will run better than this game on a devoted piece of hardware. How does that happen? We're actually going to answer that question later in the video, though. This isn't a rhetorical question here, I'm going to answer this. But first, let me give some credit where it is due. While the graphics are not great, and they clearly don't run very well, the animations for Sonic and the rest of the characters, with the exception of, I guess, Amy, who looks a bit too much like a Muppet, the animations are actually an improvement on what we've seen in the main series. The squash and stretch animation from the TV series actually carries over into gameplay. This is a good thing. And while the voice actors all carry over from the main Sonic series, their performances in this one are just the best they've ever been. And the dialogue at the same time is probably the best it's ever been as well.
Great! Metal Sonic has to show up right when Eggman is springing a surprise attack on us!
Can you help get me reelected?
Politicians. I'd rather vote you off the island.
Take the road to the left!
I want Rocky Road ice cream!
What are you talking about?
I never get what I want!
With some exceptions, these characters during gameplay do not shut the fuck up. Name the most arbitrary thing Sonic does all the time. Collect rings. but he comments on it every single time he collects rings. Now add to that him commenting every time he jumps on a bounce pad, and every time he runs around a loop-de-loop. The most egregious thing is that they sometimes say, ooh, can't get enough rings.
Can never grab too many rings.
When funny enough in this game, the rings are capped at 100, so you evidently can get enough rings. Why are you lying to me, guys? Why are you lying to me like this? Rings do still act as health, but they fill up a health meter as opposed to you just dropping every single one of your rings when you get hit. I mean, that works. Generally, the soundtrack gets a lot of flack as well. It's strictly orchestral and atmospheric music this time around, so it's not your typical Sonic soundtrack. But I mean, as far as atmospheric orchestral tracks go, this certainly isn't bad stuff. It just doesn't have that Sonic signature. And another thing I will say is I think the art direction of this game is absolutely fantastic. These environments look really, really cool. If you know, imagine them rendered well and under a good engine, you know. So overall, Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric just is not good. The gameplay concepts completely defeat the entire point of Sonic the Hedgehog and lack any kind of distinguishable appeal. And this game is just unhealthy. How could they let it get so bad? Well, here is the answer. What came first, Sonic Boom the video game or Sonic Boom the TV series? Well, to answer that, Sonic Boom the video game. The game that would become Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric was in development long before the Sonic Boom TV series with Wido Animation. However, it was not originally a Sonic Boom game, going by the working title of Sonic Synergy, suggesting that you would play as multiple characters throughout the game, with some switching. This was Sega's early idea of having an alternate timeline for Sonic and Friends, which would be a bit more story-focused and adventure-focused. The game would feature legitimately radical redesigns for Sonic and his friends, and would serve as an origin story, explaining how Dr. Eggman came to be, explaining how Sonic got to know his friends. That sounds interesting enough. The game was developed by Big Red Button, a young game studio consisting of former members of Naughty Dog. A common excuse for Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric is that, oh, it's not even developed by Sonic Team. No wonder it's bad, it's by Big Red Button. But to be honest, development on Sonic Synergy was pretty healthy until Sega stepped in and said, guys, we struck up this deal for a Sonic Boom TV series. Can you retroactively make this game a Sonic Boom game? And so retroactively changing everything they'd done had made things a bit difficult for Big Red Button Studios. But it gets worse, as Sonic Synergy was being developed for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, using CryEngine 4. CryEngine 4 being an incredibly advanced engine for video games to run off of. But then things got worse, as in 2013, Sega came back to Big Red Button and said, we've just struck a Nintendo exclusivity deal. We need you to reverse engineer this game from a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One title running on the CryEngine 4 to a Wii U game running on the Wii U's architecture. Converting a game from CryEngine 4 to Wii U architecture was something that had never been done at the time and has never been done since. And honestly, it's nothing short of a miracle that this game even runs at all, let alone in the condition that it's in. But unfortunately, being one of the first pieces of Sonic Boom media out of the gate, and initially being marketed as simply just Sonic Boom the video game, this quickly became the most talked about part of the Sonic Boom brand, and eventually the most associated thing with the Sonic Boom brand, which meant that Sega's big Sonic mass market experiment had stumbled out of the gate. Things were done to try to salvage it. Sega did apologize for Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric, stating that they wanted to win back consumer trust, and Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric was not the only Sonic Boom game to release. There was also Sonic Boom Shattered Crystal on the 3DS, as well as the sequel Sonic Boom Fire and Ice, also on the 3DS. And while both of those games are okay, they're very overlooked simply because most people lost interest in the Sonic Boom brand by the time Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric came out. That game had a lot to prove, and sadly, it proved all the wrong things. Which means that sadly, a lot of the good things that also came with the Sonic Boom brand do seem to be dead and buried. At least for now. Which is a dang shame, because I think outside of that game, the Sonic Boom brand was generally a step in the right direction. Sega haven't given up on their multiverse project though. While the Sonic Boom universe died, they still opted to have another universe running parallel to the main series. Another version of Sonic Sonic that had his own video game, an animated series, and a ton of merchandise. And as such, the Sonic Boom universe gave way to the Mania universe. Classic Sonic was changed from being Sonic's past self to being another Sonic from another dimension, allowing Sega to take the classic Sonic universe and simply run with it. And not to mention, the Mania universe seems to have learned a lesson from the Boom universe. That first game really does need to prove itself, and Sonic Mania did prove itself. It's also an instance of where it was pretty clear the game came first, the series came second. So that is the sad and sorry death of the Sonic Boom universe. What do you guys think? Comment below and discuss. And as always, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, hit subscribe, hit the like button. In the description below are links to different social media feeds, as well as my Patreon and my join button for if you're feeling extra supportive and extra generous. But of course, you don't have to do that, that's a big ask. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and have a great day.